We are live in season 5. Welcome to the FIF 5th season of interviewing the best and emerging hip hop artists, garden interest from homestead to commercial agriculture, and bourbon whiskey distilleries. My name is Joe Skibby, and this is Beats, Beds, and Browns. Our stated goal to extend our interviews across the globe was successful in season 4. Now we will have 2 seasons, spring and fall, to interview people everywhere there are dope rhymes, harvest times, and whiskey neat. Sipping slow while the bass hits the beat. Grain to glass, we craft it right. Smooth on the tongue with a fiery bite. Raise a toast, let the bottle unwind. Stories told as we blur the lines. Join us throughout the rest of season 5 as we cut it up with Reynard Lewis, founder of Reynard Whiskey, a visionary entrepreneur blending his passion for fine spirits with a deep understanding of craftsmanship. Inspired by rich family traditions and his love for whiskey culture, Reynard embarked on a journey to create a brand that embodies both quality and heritage. That is October 9th. Again, streaming Wednesdays every week until November 6th at 7 p.m. Central. October 16th, we have V8 Vast Change, recently signed, rising rap artist known for his introspective lyrics and thought-provoking messages, blending conscious rap with a distinct underground sound. He weaves stories about life, personal growth, and social issues, all while maintaining lyrical complexity and authenticity. Again, October 16th. Then October 23rd, Clint Brower, CEO of Greenfield Robotics, forward-thinking entrepreneur, revolutionizing agriculture through technology. With a background in business innovation, Clint founded Greenfield Robotics to tackle one of farming's biggest challenges, weed control, without the need for harmful chemicals. Again, 7 p.m. Central, Wednesday evening, October 23rd. Then October 30th, we have host of the Green Sense podcast, Robert Colangelo, founder and host, leading voice in sustainable living and environmental innovation. With decades of experience in environmentalism and green business, Robert is dedicated to exploring cutting-edge solutions for a more sustainable future. Through his podcast, he engages with industry leaders, scientists, and innovators to discuss topics ranging from urban agriculture to renewable energy, inspiring listeners to adopt eco-friendly practices in their everyday lives. Then November 6th, we close out. We're excited for this one. If you've watched the AMC documentary Distilled, Harvey Williams, CEO of Delta Dirt Distillery. Visionary entrepreneur, blending his agricultural roots with a passion for distilling. Based in the Arkansas Delta, Harvey founded Delta Dirt Distillery as a family-run operation producing award-winning spirits using locally grown sweet potatoes from their farm. As always, stay tuned at Beats, Beds, Browns for additional episode announcements. We'll put that down at the bottom there. And let's not forget our mission to distribute 100,000 heirloom seed kits over the next 10 years. We want to introduce people to growing their own food and realizing how easy it is to get started. Cheers. Whether you've got acres or just a balcony, you can start growing your own food. To date, we've given out over 5 figures in seed kits across the country. Again, tap in. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, on YouTube, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Just search Beats, Beds, and Browns. Welcome to those of you joining us after the live taping. We see you now. We couldn't be more excited. In today's episode of Beats, Beds, and Browns, we're thrilled to sit down with IAMGAWD, an immensely talented hip-hop artist whose music not only entertains but educates and empowers. Known for his sharp lyricism and raw storytelling, IAMGAWD has carved out a unique space in the music world. His ability to speak on social issues, mental health, and personal experiences through his music makes him an important voice in today's cultural landscape. We're excited to dive into his journey, the meaning behind his music, and the way he's using his platform for positive change. Let's get into it and bring God into the studio. God, how you doing? We got God. He's frozen. Remember, Beats, Beds, Browns, 100K in 10 years is the hashtag that we use to promote. There we go. There he is. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on, Joe? How you doing, man?
Couldn't be waiting to cut it up. I know we were facing some travel challenges on my end. I'm glad that you're here on time and ready to go.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being the slightest bit accommodating. We had some family things to take care of, but everything's good. And we're going to jump right into it, man, with the question we ask all of our interviewees: where you been, where you at, and where you going?
Oh man, I've been working. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's the 9 to 5 or whether that's making music, creating behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Being a father. You know what I'm saying? A parent. All that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've been. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm going. Hopefully past the sun, moon, and stars and all that. You know what I'm saying? Only time could tell though. But I'm definitely working quiet as kept.
Top of the top, 4 projects out, can't miss. 5th on the way, 6th on the way. I hear you're working on multiple things right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm probably working on like 5 projects right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always some sort of work, and it just keep coming. And I'm grateful for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to kind of complain about it, like because I'm a real type of me time type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I love down times to just be able to sit with myself. You know what I'm saying? Like think whatever, plan, plot, strategize, whatever. But I've grown into the habit of like always working. You know what I'm saying? So I'm literally working on like 5 projects right now.
Nice. Yeah. And you need that introspection, that time to reflect on everything that's going on and put that into music. Your pen is unmatched. The way you flow lyrically is unbelievable. The deeper I dig, you just can't miss after can't miss. I've really been enjoying doing the work and picking up on it. So
Gratitude.
knowing that and knowing the storytelling that goes into not only the songs themselves, but as you piece together the albums, can you talk about that and how you turn a thought into a song and how you turn songs into albums in the process you go through?
Oh man, it definitely starts with the beat. Everything starts with the beat first and foremost.
So you got to
Um,
hear it first and you put the
absolutely,
words to the beat. Yeah.
absolutely. Like sometimes I might have a thought of like something I may want to talk about, like the content piece of the music, but more times than not, it just start with a beat. And that beat. That's why I'm so picky with beats. Like a beat maker, a producer could probably send me like 50 beats, and I'll probably only choose like 5. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very picky, and it's not to say that it's whack or it's trash or nothing like that. It's not that. It's just that I don't I don't really entertain music that really don't pull nothing out of me emotionally and make me want to write. And I get it. Everything is not going to be like that. Sometimes I just get on the track and just to talk crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just the regular old MC braggadocio. But sometimes it's like, you want to say something of substance. You know what I'm saying? And you want to get a clear and concise thought out there. Put that out into the world, into the universe, and manifest something of meaning. So, like I said, it start with a beat. I might formulate the thought, kind of, sort of, but it's not like writing a script. Like I don't like rough draft it out or nothing like that, and like try to piece it together and then write it. Like it all comes together as I'm writing. So that's the only way I know how to do it. Like I ain't trying to make it
So you're
sound
not
like,
journaling, you're not writing down verses. It just comes to you straight from the top.
oh no, I'll write verses. I mean, like as far as like say with like a
Put it together.
story or a put together type topic or concept.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'm
you've
not,
got the puzzle pieces and then
yeah,
final assembly like Voltron, you come out in
right.
full
Like
force.
I just write it and it's coming together while I'm thinking about the story. And I might go back and, redo some lines or something like that. But other than that, it just come to me as I'm writing.
So what does a studio session look like? You're cross-referencing your notes, you're listening to beats, it's an aha moment, and you put words to that particular beat, or you go into the studio knowing it's these 5 beats you're gonna work with and you got the producer there.
Yeah, time is money. A shout out to the homie Doc, you know what I'm saying? But I pay for studio time. So it's like I'm always trying to like be as prepared as I possibly can be when I step in the studio. And some of the guys like they write in the studio, that work for them. I'm so used to like writing in the comfort of my own home and my safe space, my quiet space to where I could just tune everything out and just focus on the matter at hand. So I normally write everything, you know what I'm saying, prior to beforehand, and then it's just getting right down to business once I get in the studio.
Nice. And that's Dr. Mindbender. Dr.
Absolutely.
Mindbender. Yeah, shout out to
Absolutely.
Doc. Everybody, I'm
Grindhouse.
sure, appreciates you being prepared going into it and making quick work of it, so to speak. I know it's more challenging than that, but
Right.
nice. So Chicago has obviously a rich and diverse music history, not only with the multi different ways that hip hop has expressed itself, but blues, rock and roll. How has growing up in Chicago shaped your sound and the messages in your music, and what influences went into that?
I always say Chicago is an aggressive place, and I don't necessarily mean aggressive as in like, getting in your face. Is that too? You know what I'm saying? But the hustle of the city, is fast paced. Like downtown, for instance, it's a lot of one way streets. Everybody cutting each other off on the road. You gotta, when it's your time to cross the walkway, I'm saying, across the street, you gotta get on out the way. It's like Chicago is a very fast paced and aggressive city. Like you kind of gotta like, you would get lost in the shuffle if you don't know, what I'm saying, what you're doing or where you headed. So I think, Chicago instilled a lot of aggressiveness in me, but a lot of also a lot of fearlessness. You really can't be timid, what I'm saying, growing up in Chicago. I don't care what side you from, what lifestyle you from, like you kind of got to go for yours. And also, like, I feel like Chicago made me very intentional. Like I grew up, I did, as a young dude, I grew up fronting to a certain extent. I think a lot of us did that, you know what I'm saying? Well, some of us, you know what I'm saying? Like I definitely was one of the ones growing up fronting to a certain degree when I was younger, like trying to be something that
Sure,
I wasn't
we're
at the
all
time.
bigger, wanting to be in them next size shoes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like, it, like fronting, it kind of taught me that like it's just more comfortable and more natural just to like be yourself, to be who you are. So I feel like that intentionality of just being who I am unapologetically, regardless what the circumstances is, that shines through in the music as well. So, and it's diverse. We have we very multifaceted when it comes to the sounds as far as music, and that's outside of rap and hip hop. I feel like I always say Chicago. I don't care what genre of music you're talking about, like be it gospel, rhythm and blues, jazz, rap, soul, whatever you wanna do, other cultural music. Like I feel like we have somebody that does whatever type of music at a very high level in Chicago.
I'm always surprised at shows or even online where people are introducing this guy was a Chicago legend. He was on these early tracks. Definitely people you've heard of, but this was the keyboardist or this was the vocalist. And there's a lot of folks like that floating around in the background that maybe don't get the accolades that they deserve.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you mentioned intentional and aggressive because there's a what's the right word? There's a aggressiveness to your flow, and it's got a pace to it. Like it's not stuff I'm sitting back and listening to chill. I want to be driving. I want to be doing something. You're absorbing the stories that you're telling, and it's interesting to hear that that's a byproduct of your origin story, so to speak.
Absolutely. I feel like I
Speaking,
get that, not to cut you off, but I feel like
yeah,
I
go
get
ahead.
I get some of that from like Pac and Cube. Those two are my favorite artists. And Pac was like Pac and Cube, they was like real aggressive vocally, and as far as like what they were saying and how they were saying it as well. They was unapologetic in their messages. And I feel like I definitely took that from them, and applied it, to what I do musically. And again, that's how the city, what I'm saying, raised me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I got into this, I did a Mount Rushmore, and I got Cube on it with Mos Def and Nip and LL. That was the first tape I ever had, so we go way
But
back. But yeah, I like the different journeys. But
yeah.
um, your songs often touch, and even some of the album covers touch on topics like social justice and personal struggle. What role do you think hip hop plays in bringing awareness to these issues, and what role as an artist do you think is an obligation to have share those stories?
I think hip hop and rap music is very important when it comes to that. Although you don't hear it as much, it's a different time, totally different generation, totally different artists. I get that, I understand that, but it's always going to be a struggle. It's always going to be an underdog, and I feel like that story should never die. As long as that person exists, it's people that's going to be able to relate to that story. It's people that's going to feel that struggle and that journey. So I feel like hip hop is probably the best place, to tell those stories and to incorporate um, those type of emotions and those type of, uh, struggles and journeys. I don't feel a need to play the part of the whole movement. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely, when I see fit, Like I think I'm doing it less now. I still do it. I don't know if I'm doing it less intentionally. I think sometimes I do it less intentionally because it's kind of like I don't want my music to ever be depressing, to always be talking about a struggle or something not going right. You know what I'm saying? But at certain points in time, like I just feel it, and that's what has to come out. You know, and I do a lot of self-reflecting. Like I said, I love downtime to just be able to like reflect on my life. You know what I'm saying? Think about ways I want to be better. You know what I'm saying? The type of man or person I want to be moving forward, you know, because we always growing. We never stop growing. We never stop evolving. And just, you know, like sometimes like those past instances or past stories or whatever, like they kind of hit home and you think, oh shit, I remember this, or man, I came a long way. And you know, that stuff kind of comes out. Like in what is that? My Biggest Enemy. You know what I'm saying? One of the joints off my recently released EP with Clipto, More Suede, Bloodstained Suede 2.5, streaming everywhere.
Absolutely.
But yeah, My Biggest Enemy is one of my favorite songs like that I've ever wrote, because you know it's just I can't explain the zone I was in when I wrote that. Like I think I might have wrote that over multiple days. I think I can't really remember, but I know when I was writing, each time I pick up the phone and start typing that out, like it was just flowing, you know, and that's as genuine as I could possibly be, or I could have been at that time. So I definitely feel like it's important to incorporate that into the music. Like I never want to, you know, give a false perception. Like I Am God is not a character. Like it's not somebody who I turn into when a microphone come on. Like I always try to make it to whereas I am God and the man behind the music is no different. You know, of course, it's some entertainment value in there. It's a little hyperbole, you know what I'm saying, in the sense of art and rap and entertainment. But I feel like you can hear that. I'm not really out here trying to make nothing seem like it is what it ain't, or it ain't what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like you could get a sense of when I'm just being like artistic, but when I'm being real, which is more times than not, like I feel like it definitely comes across as that.
Without a doubt, giving voice to the voiceless. And as you talked about growing, perfect interlude. Why don't you share, for those that don't know, the acronym behind I Am God and what it means and what it stands for?
Yeah, so I Am God, it's not just a name, it's actually an acronym, like you said. And when you break it down, it translates to I am getting ahead without devolving. So that's I am God as in GAWD. So I am getting ahead without devolving. And what that means to me is that, you know, everybody's version of success is different, right? At least when you mature enough to realize that success is not one size fit all. So I feel like I'm gonna reach my version of success, what I want out of life, without compromising my morals, without abandoning my code of ethics, and you know everything that I can justify as right in my heart and in my mind and my spirit. You know, so I'm not, no disrespect, but I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not gonna carry a purse to get to that next level. You know what I'm saying? And we see that all the time. Like, and there's other things outside of that that I just don't deem worthy of me doing. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I'm bigger than anybody or bigger than anything, but we should all have standards in life. We should never just conform and just do whatever's trendy at the moment. Like, I can't remember a time to where I've been that way. Like maybe probably more than likely when I was much younger, but like I'm 38 right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a grown ass man out here, and I couldn't see myself just like following a wave just to obtain some level of success. You know what I'm saying? So what that means to me is I'm gonna make it where I'm gonna be on my terms. You know what I'm saying? I move to the drum, the beat of my own drum.
Standing tall, standing on your own, standing in who you are, not trying
10
to be
toes
anybody
down.
else.
Absolutely.
That opportunity exists in an easier fashion. Not to say that it's hard, not easy to do that, but understanding that you could be that person 10 years ago, but all the channels didn't exist, all the media opportunities didn't exist. You could be your own man, but the streams didn't come with it, the following didn't come with it. Now I think that is a path that can equal, commercial success. And can you talk to me, kind of a multifaceted question, studio or live performing, and then the benefit of streaming and other ways that you incorporate that to grow your personal brand, right?
Which one do I prefer, studio or live performing?
Yeah.
Oh man. To tell the truth, I think it's 50-50 because I understand at least the type of artist I am, I can't have one without the other. of course, I could just record and not perform. Like I did that for a very long time, but now that I've like really been performing a lot, like I really see, for me at least, that's not the way to go. Like I want to get out there and and see the people and speak to the people and be in the same room in the same environment with the people and see the expressions on their faces and hear the gasp and the laughter or whatever it is, I'm saying, the reactions of what it is that I'm saying. So for me, I need both. Like I can't put one over the other. I also understand that the record, and they both performances. Like let's get that clear first and foremost. It's both a type of performance. Whereas when you in a booth, you performing for the listener. I mean, you performing for the listener on stage too, but it's a difference. Like you can go over that recording, that studio recording, as many times as you want to get it exactly how you want it to sound, so that the people, the listeners, receive it as is intended. So that's very important. I want my voice to sound a certain way. I want to enunciate a certain way. I want to hit that pocket, and I want my cadence to be a certain way. I want my voice to be a certain tone. You know what I'm saying? When I'm saying certain things. So I want to make sure all these little pieces, I'm very meticulous in the studio. Like Doc know, I'll change the slightest thing. And he'd be like, bro, you didn't even need to change that. For me, I did though.
But you did, yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to like the stage, that's a totally different beast. Like I'm on that motherfucker sweating, like I'm damn near ready to fight. Like that's how amped I am. You know what I'm saying?
I remember Crime Apple, you had a towel underneath, the hoodie up, full sweatsuit. He was going crazy.
Yeah, and it's like that's really like that's me. That's the ultimate selling of myself to you. You know what I'm saying? The listener, the viewer, the fan, the supporter, whoever.
Yeah, you can't go on stage cold and get into the vibe and get the crowd going, and it just.
Especially when you got dudes like AM Early Morning, Jude Gilla, Rufus Sims, Vic Spencer, Fillmore Green, especially
Murderers Row in the building. There's killers on stage. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Water, like all like shit. Freddie Olso. I'm talking about the ladies too. Like you just can't get up on stage with these level of artists and just think you're gonna half-ass it and just coast through a set. I want to leave a lasting impression. Like I want you to walk away saying, that motherfucker IAMGAWD, like he cold. Like I enjoyed that performance because like I take pride in not rapping over the lyrics on what I'm saying, on stage. Like again, that's for the listening aspect. Like when you at the crib or when you in a car, you can hit a track then. When you on stage, when I'm on stage and you in that crowd, it's my duty first and foremost to give you a show, not to give you what I recorded. It might sound a little different. In my opinion, it's supposed to sound different than what you recorded because there's a live aspect to it. So I take them both for what they are. I love them both for what they are. I don't think I could do one without the other anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I need them both. And I'm a little long-winded. So what was the second part of that question?
It got into other ways of making it commercializing it, right? The merchandising and the streaming revenue and different things of that nature. But I actually want to jump the gun, and you mentioned AM Early Morning. That was the first time I saw you, was maybe 3.5 years ago at Magoo's in Bedford Park.
Audio Narco tour.
Yeah, and then that started listening to you, and it was like, in person, I definitely felt the vibe. I was feeling it. Then I went to listen in the car later, and it was almost, I wasn't ready. It was like too cerebral, if I can put it up there. And it was like, man, I had to come back, let that sit on the shelf for a little bit. And now I'm really appreciating, I don't know if that's mindset or vibe, but just like you say, you got to be in the right mindset for the performance and to anticipate different. It's weird how you come back to certain artists and you're like, man, yeah, this is what I'm feeling right now. Stage of life, whatever it is, but it's incredible.
It's all timing, man. All timing.
Sorry. So we also glanced over with the IAMGAWD name, and you had to change that, right? It was T to God before that, or
absolutely. So yeah, like it was I had a couple names. Like I think the first one when I first put my music on the internet, I had a project called Music of the Mind, and it was produced entirely by, rest in peace, you know what I'm saying, to Infamous. And Infamous was one half of Black Table Committee. Shout out to homie Cliff Clouds, formerly known as King Genius. You know what I'm saying? Two brothers, blood brothers from the west side of Chicago. The group, again, the duo was called Black Table Committee. raw as hell. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, Infamous, he passed. I think it was due to like a ruptured appendix. I hope I'm not misspeaking, but yeah, he passed some years ago. Again, rest in peace to Infamous. And that was a point in time in my life when I was going through a lot. So that one, Music of the Mind, I was Tragedy to Beast then. And then like I went from Tragedy to Beast to like Tragedy to Infamous for like a couple years. And then that shit just sounded corny to me. Like both of those names, it just sounded like some comic book villain type shit. So I'm like, I really got to find our identity. And this was around the time of J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. Everybody was using a real name. So like, I get it. Like, what's more original than your real name? But I felt like that was a trend too at one point in time, using your real name. So I'm like, I didn't want to go that route. So I changed it to like T to God. And God still meant getting ahead without devolving, TTHEGAWD. But in the midst of trying to trademark the name, like I stumbled upon another T to God, but his name was TDAGOD. And the trademark attorney was like, if I was you, I would just like stay away from that name to prevent any legal issues in the future. Come back when you got something else. And I'm like, shit, here it is. I just came back into rap 2020, people didn't probably, forgot who I was. And the 15 people that do remember me from 2-3 years ago, it's like, damn, man, like I have to rebrand as soon as I drop my first project. So I'm like, I was already using a hashtag IAMGAWD. And that always meant I am getting ahead without devolving. So I'm like, you know what? What if I just use that? Like, it's controversial. It'll make people talk. And if they forward thinking enough, they'll listen. Like, let me see what's behind. Who are you to call yourself I am God? You must be saying something. So let me stop and listen. So I just went with it and it went through. I got a trademark and we here now.
Sure. Talk the talk and walk the walk.
Absolutely.
I like it. And that was, so 2020 was I Am God self-titled. And then you rolled with that. You started a hashtag. When did, just because you brought up hashtags, when did Chicago Never Forgot How to Rap come up? And when did that become a part of it?
Oh, man. I want to say that's probably that's relatively recent, maybe like a couple years, maybe. If it's 2024, I want to say the first time I probably hashtag that was probably like 2022. So that was around like Murder Castle, you know what I'm saying? So it was somewhere around like, shout out to Black Depths, he produced that in its entirety. It was somewhere around Murder Castle and Bloodstained Suede 1, which was 2023. Shout out to homie Clipto. So in between those 2 years.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I hear that throughout the city at different shows, whether you're there or not. So that's
it didn't caught on, and I'm happy to hear, because that means like it ain't just me. And I knew it wasn't just me. Like, and let me say, like, I'm super, super happy that I chose the time to come back to rap that I did, because I had no idea how deep we was out here as far as underground hip hop. I had no, because like I was disgusted with myself and the overall state of rap when I initially quit in 2016. So I wasn't paying attention to nothing local. Nobody knew none of that. Like, I was just listening to the shit I grew up on. So when I came back, I mean, it's certain dudes who I already knew of. I already knew of Brittany Carter. Shout out to her. I already knew of Vic Spencer, Fillmore Green, and a couple more guys, D2G. But like,
shout out to all of them, legends.
Yeah. Weasel Sims, who is now Rufus Sims. Yeah. I didn't know who bro was. Jay Hayes didn't know who bro was. AM Early Morning didn't know who bro was. Who else? Jujilla, Panamera P. Them the guys now didn't know who they was though. So it was kind of like, we so strong out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, we really tough. Like, we going crazy right now. And it's like, that's everything to me. Like water, you know what I'm saying? There's so many. Like, I didn't know who none of these dudes
sure,
was.
Water
like,
just dropped. AM and Jujilla's project's dropping the 4th.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
we strong,
hard
bro.
to keep up to as somebody who's trying to listen to it all and find the time,
Facts. It's so much. But yeah, like, so man, like, just like coming back and just like realizing that like this really could be something. Like, if we pull this shit together and like develop that camaraderie, you know what I'm saying? Like, this could really be something. That's exactly what we're doing. So I'm ecstatic to tell the truth.
Yeah. And so speaking about, the pace and the amount of music that's being produced, blending old school and new school elements, like, how do you keep your music fresh while, staying that independent rock of who you are without trend chasing,
Oh man. Like right before I quit in 2016, like I ended up like chasing trend chasing. You know what I'm saying? Like the last 3 joints I put out was like, it was cool, they was decent, but it was like I was still reaching for something that wasn't normally me. But it taught me a lesson. Like it taught me that expanding your horizons and what it is that you do is not a bad thing. You know, unless you like trying to duplicate something else, like to where it's just like it's no originality, it's none of you in that none whatsoever, then that's the issue. But it's cool. Like I pride myself on being an MC, and as an MC, I feel like you should master all styles. So I pride myself in being able to do this cadence or being able to do a trap flow or being able to do whatever. Like I pride myself in being able to do those things. It's like a utility knife. Like I can pull it out whenever I need, you know what I'm saying, whatever need be, slow down. But you know, it's just, you know, it's as far as like the music side of it, you know, it's no pressure. It's just it's who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here to chase a trend, and I'm not really pressed or too concerned about who the music is gonna reach. Because for me, whenever I make music, it's always for like-minded individuals. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to reach a certain demographic or a certain target audience. You know what I'm saying? So that part don't even really cross my mind.
Nice. Yeah, your skills exist and you transcend genres. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, gratitude.
How about most challenging aspects of your career and how you've been able to overcome? I know you said you left the game for a little bit and then came back. That may be it, or some other production or stylistic challenge.
The money, bro. It's the money. Like this is an expensive game, and it's funny because I thought like, oh, you know, I ain't chasing no label deal. Like I ain't trying to be a superstar. So like this underground should be much more cost effective. Absolutely not. Like I don't care what you're doing as an entrepreneur. If it's just you and you serious about what you're doing, you're gonna come out of some money, and you probably gonna be in a deficit for a long time before you really start making anything and start seeing a profit. You know, I've been doing music for 20 plus years. I've been on the internet with my music since 2010, and Bloodstained Suede 2 was the most money I ever made off any project. And I ain't gonna say how much it was. Like it wasn't nowhere near life changing, but you know, it made me look like, oh shit, okay, like I could really do this, you know, and I'm going down the right path as far as like how I'm presenting, you know what I'm saying, how I'm pushing it. So I would definitely say first and foremost is the money, because I feel like I got the creativity and I got the resources. And now also let me give some credit to, again, the community and the people that's around me. My manager, Johnny Smalls, you know what I'm saying, APJ, Cole ass videographer out of Chicago, Mars Flight, the guys, the artists, Rufus Sims, Vic Spencer, Fillmore Green, Water, Panamera P, Jujilla, you know what I'm saying? Like all us, like AM Early Morning, like we all mess with each other, and it's not about a dollar when it come to each other. Like, you know, dudes might have their fees and what they need, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we ain't trying to like hit each other over the head with a crazy ass price or a crazy ass number or nothing like that. Like, we all are using the resources that we have at our disposal, and we have some damn good resources. So it just so happens none of us have a big budget, but we can still do what we do and make it look good by utilizing each other. Like perfect example of that is the Bloodstained Suede 2 remix. The video, the song, everything. Like that's 8 minutes of bars. You know what I'm saying? Like me and, you know what I'm saying? Like I think 6 other guys is
Hammer, Griff, Vic,
yeah.
Pano.
Yeah, shout out Griffin too.
Rufus,
You know what I'm saying? Like my bro right there. He been looking out
Water.
since day one. So Griffin, Panamera P, Jujilla, Vic Spencer, Rufus Sims. No, I say Griffin, Panamera P, Jujilla, Vic Spencer, Rufus, and Water. You know what I'm saying? So
In order too.
yeah, 7 of us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's 8 minutes of just super dope bars and lyricism, but the video, like. And I got to thank you for being a part of that and helping me bring that vision to life.
Check out the video, guys. I got a cameo. You watching?
Absolutely.
Make sure you hit it up. We'll share the link and check it out. My
Go
video debut. Thank you.
No, thank you. Like absolutely, thank you. But go to YouTube and check out it's BS2. So BS, the Roman numeral 2. You know what I'm saying? Remix RMX. You know what I'm saying? And it's featuring Griffin, Panamera P, Jujilla, Vic Spencer, Rufus Sims, and Water. And shout out to the homie APJ, you know, because like him, and shout out to homegirl Shabaza, like she had more of a creative director's role, and you know what I'm saying, and it was multiple visions, you know what I'm saying, incorporated into that video. and we execute it. So I thank all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Much love to all y'all. Even the homie Joel Q. You know what I'm saying? I forgot to mention him. Another super dope artist. Yeah,
Joel
another
was in the
super dope
beginning.
artist.
Yeah, that was just a fun day.
Absolutely. It was raining crazy as hell. Like my
raining, we're in the
infrared senses
warehouse.
was
Each of these different stages that everybody's claiming, and no, this is mine. I got this. There's pool tables. I don't know if those were featured in the video, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was dope.
You know, I think the recurring theme of artists, farmers, and distillers that we try to bring to the table here is that entrepreneurial spirit, is the challenges. You know, you talk about the money not being there and performing. Well, guess what? I talked to a dozen farmers. Nobody's getting rich off farming, right? You hear about these 100-acre farms that are monopolizing growing, small organic farms, regenerative farms. They're at farmers markets 8 hours a day. They're building food hubs. They're scratching, nickels together to make ends meet. They're not only doing the growing, the market farming, potentially CSA like a membership. They do merchandise, consulting, agro-tourism, and just like we're talking here, live, studio, streaming, merch. I'm sure there's collabs and whatnot. I want to touch on that as well. Distillers, you can put vodka and gin out in year one, but if you want to be a distiller of whiskey, you got to barrel age it for 3 to 5 years. So that's millions of dollars. Again, that's not my scratch, right? That's some of the guys we've interviewed. They're like, we're not putting out anything but whiskey. So they do the build cost, they do the inventory holding cost, they get it out. So that's a recurring theme amongst everybody. And I think just entrepreneurship in general, you're going to struggle before you do good. And the payoff, the road might be richer down there, but you're building and you're putting in the legwork. And, I applaud you and all the other artists and farmers and distillers that we interview, A, for allowing me the time to ask questions, but B, for the effort that goes into it and sharing your passion, your creativity. It keeps a lot of us going out there. So thank you for what you do.
No, thank you. And salute to everybody out there that's getting out the mud and, trying to build from ground up. Like I hope and pray that you exceed expectations and you take it further than what you thought, because that's all we're trying to do out here is get to that next level. So salute everybody out here grinding from the ground up.
I'm never, I'm frequently reminded that, where we're at, struggling and maybe frustrated with our position, there are people behind us, ahead of us, but the people behind us would kill to be in our shoes, right? Whether it's a podcast or a business or a performance. What advice would you give to somebody who's maybe not as polished, maybe not in the game for as long as you've been, but what advice would you give them? I'll just stop there.
It sounds cliche as all hell, but don't give up. Like, I don't care if you've been called trash a million times. Like, if you got your heart set on something and you want to do it, hey man, like I can't. If I can say the same thing to somebody who I believe is talented, I'll be a hypocrite to say it to somebody who I didn't think is talented. That's up to you. You know what I'm saying? You gonna run across the obstacles that you gonna come across. But if you believe in something, regardless, we're gonna take talent all out of it, because we see in today's world, you can be as talentless as all hell, but still, you know what I'm saying, make it.
You got the look, or you're marketable, or we can push the product.
Yeah. So I would say this as well. Put some quality into your work first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Put some quality into your work first and foremost. I don't care what it is you're doing. But besides that, after you get that part down pat, just don't give up. Like, but you also can't do the same thing over and over and over and over, and don't pay attention to what works for you and don't work for you. Like, you got to have a keen eye for detail, regardless of what you're doing. When people say don't give up, it just mean like, we don't mean like you steady trying to run through a fucking brick wall face first and you busting your shit up every time and you keep getting up trying to do the same thing. Like, no, you might have to go around the wall. You might have to dig under that motherfucker. You might have to scale the wall, but find a way. You know what I'm saying? What way works for you? I'm just saying don't give up. Just keep at it, because I've been doing this for 20 plus years, honing my skills and, you know, trying to perfect my craft. Like, I'm 38. I've been rapping since I was like 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing it seriously since I was like 14, 15, 16.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah, it's kind of like you just can't give up. And I'm just starting to see like minor success. You know what I'm saying? But enough success to where it's like, okay, that's motivation enough to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain signs and things that's happening that's letting me know I'm moving in the right direction. So I would just say, and also you got to get to a point to where like you so skilled and so talented with what you're doing, you make it look, you can make yourself look like you at a level that you're not even there yet. You make it look easy. You got an eye for quality. You know what I'm saying? You know how to present yourself or your product or whatever it is you're doing. And I don't mean front. When I say that, I don't mean front. I just mean you so good with what you do. Your vision is so precise and so concise. You know how to make yourself look like you already at where you trying to be without fronting or none of that. You know, because I be hearing little stuff like little whispers, and it's like, it's crazy because like I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Like, I'm talking about nowhere near. So, and like with Twitter and like social media, like people be wanting that praise from other people, and that's the game for them. Like, I'm past that, but it's like you have to keep working. Like, you might not be on their radar, but you can't spam a motherfucker to death and get them to listen to you or patronize whatever it is you're doing. You just have to get to the point to where what you're doing is undeniable, and that may taking you having to DM or private message a bunch of people until you get that one that's willing to listen. But also, don't set your sights too high. Don't go for the person with 1 million followers or whatever like that. Go to that person that got between 4 to 5 to 6,000 followers or whatever, but they always engaging and they get engagement, and make sure that they in the lane that you in. Don't go to a sports podcast because they got 10,000 followers.
You're not going to get on Kelce's podcast. You're not going to get on Joe Rogan. It's don't skip leg day. You got to do the work.
Absolutely. It's levels to this. So I would say it's just don't quit, man. Like, continue to evolve and progress and get better. Pay attention to what works for you and what don't. Adjust accordingly, and just don't stop, man. You will get there. I promise you that. Consistency is key. Without consistency, we ain't nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't quit. I love it. Are you you like spirits? Are you a whiskey drinker? You mess with any brown?
Not too much, man. Like, my at this age, my body be letting me know. Like, as soon as that first sip hit the lips, it's like, bro, now you know.
You gotta pay the price for this.
Yeah, it's like my body be letting me know when I'm doing some shit I ain't got no business doing. So I don't smoke. I really don't drink. Like, I at the AM early morning and Jujilla Deli boy listening session, like, I had a few shots and it was like I definitely had a headache the next day. Like, wasn't hungover, but like in the head, like I felt it. Like, yeah,
less than 100%, man. Yeah, definitely. I pay the price, still paying it, but you know, sometimes it pays itself at 3 a.m, wide awake. Sometimes it pays itself with a headache. Sometimes, but definitely keeping it to a minimum. Yeah. What about you growing anything? You got a green thumb?
Nah, I can't even front and say I do. Absolutely not. I don't even think I've ever attempted to grow anything. Only I got the patience for it, man. My patience, you would think having 2 boys then like gave me, you know, the patience of an old wise man, but like I'm still be ready to fly off the handle.
Got that frazzled live wire going on, yeah.
Absolutely. I still be ready to fly off the handle. So nah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't need patience. As soon as I plant something and water it, I'm out there scanning the ground, looking and getting close-ups and whatnot. So I'm just as impatient, but we'll get you a seed kit. We'll get you set up.
But
this has been great, but all artists leave after running through the gauntlet. So are you ready for hard hitters and wig splitters?
Let's go. Let's get
this or that, do or don't, yes or no questions that break households. And we're going to go ahead. Without devolving here, yes, no, this, that. Try and be as quick as you can. Beef or no beef?
No beef.
No beef. All right. Cash or queens?
Cash or queens? Cash.
Cash. Big black truck or 6'4"?
6'4".
6'4". Edibles or flour?
Flour.
Kendrick or Drake?
Kendrick.
Kendrick. Nobody's picking Drake. I get it.
That's
Kendrick
funny.
just smashed. Bears or Colts?
Bears.
Bears. All right. Cubs or Sox?
Sox.
Sox. All right. This is a tough one. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. This is red meat. I don't know.
I don't
Ketchup.
fuck with him, but I'll say no.
Yeah, you don't? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ketchup or no ketchup? Yeah, Mr. Misfit said no glizzies. So
Yeah, not at all. That was kid shit. Like, we grown now.
yeah, call it lips and assholes, right? That's you're just eating ground up cow. Ketchup or no ketchup?
Ketchup.
Ketchup. All right. Hot or mild?
Mild.
Mild. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Jordan for sure.
Absolutely.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Marvel. How about vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Vanilla. All right, you survived the gauntlet of hard hitters and wig splitters. This, that, yes or no question answers.
Yes,
As we're rounding third here, anything to close out the show? What do you have in the pipeline? You mentioned a couple projects. Any performances or new releases coming out?
So I think I'm gonna hit y'all with one more at the end of the year. Still, I ain't ready to let the cat out the bag for that one, but maybe sometime in November, maybe December. But coming up, first and foremost, I don't know when this is gonna come out. I know we live right now, but is it live right now?
Yes.
Or to be released? Okay,
right
so
now live.
Okay, bet. So October 12th, if anybody from Detroit is watching, or if you can get to Detroit, I will be in a building at the Old Miami Bar in Detroit, Michigan. Shout out the homie Bazaar, D12, Foul Mouth, Rufus Sims. I'll be there with Rufus Sims, Master Ill, Jujilla, Panamera P, and a host of other dope ass MCs, you know what I'm saying, to be in the building. But this is my first performance in Detroit. So if you in Detroit, or if you can make it to Detroit, October 12th, the Old Miami Bar in Detroit, Michigan, pop out, because I'm telling you, like, I'm finna go crazy. This is my first, what I consider major out of town show. I'm finna go in there and show my whole black ass. So y'all better be ready, because
October
show y'all
12th.
Chicago never forget how to rap. October 12th.
Detroit going to be shown that we never forgot, and IAMGAWD, a bunch of season 1, 2, and 3 all-stars as well. Sounds like a can't miss show. Detroit also home of a burgeoning, urban gardening. They have a bunch of community oases where people can go and get their food. So we respect what Detroit's doing, both in the hip hop scene as well as hosting our homies from the Shy. We appreciate you, God. I'm going to pull you out into the green room. I'll cut it up with you for a couple minutes afterwards, but we're going to close out the show. Again, thank you for your time. We appreciate you participating, and can't wait for your next release. We're all waiting with bated breath.
Much love. Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Thanks, man. All right. Beats, Beds, and Browns, the ag advocacy brand focused on educating people on how to eat healthy, sustainably, and inexpensively. Start your gardening journey today and grab your free seed kit. We got the website going across the bottom there. You can listen to our thoughts via our video podcast on YouTube and or your streaming venue of choice, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. Follow our progress on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube via the hashtag 100K in 10 years, or directly via @BeatsBedsAndBrowns. We appreciate you joining us or tuning in after the fact, and wish you all happy planting.